Okay, this is X-Men Curse the Mutants #1. Let's dig into this thing. It actually looks really nice. I really like the art in this book. So, basically, you're in San Francisco. These two kids are walking down the street and they see this creepy guy. I wouldn't mess with this guy if he walked down the street and bumped into me. I guess these guys are pretty smart. So then two of the X-Men are just hanging out and talking about life, when this guy just walks up to them and sparkles. But, unlike Twilight, he blows apart, which is just epic. I haven't seen that in Twilight yet. Now, what happens next? They all get coated in blood, and the vampires are all like, haha, our plan worked, and they're all happy. But the X-Men are like, oh my god, what just happened? And Cyclops is like, this isn't a normal terrorist attack, and I'm like, no duh. Next page, Jubilee, who is one of the people attacked by the vampire things, is being examined in the medical bay. And everyone's all worried. And then this giant thing comes out of the ocean and he just kills a bunch of dudes. Thus the vampire invasion is beginning, which is just epic. And the scientists go over some techno-babble and stuff and said that there's this virus that was spread by the blood and whatnot, which, you know, furthers the evidence of vampires, which is just epic. And then Cyclops is like, well, can you cure the virus? And they're like, well, no, we can't. So it kind of sucks for Jubilee, who is currently infected at this point. And then there's this exposition about just stuff that's going on, how all the vampires are recruiting people and whatnot. And then basically they send some of the X-Men on a recon team. They go down the alley and then they're ambushed by vampires. They beat them up, which is pretty epic. And then Wolverine just goes in and he slices them up. I really like this art. I mean, this panel is just epic. I mean, the only way to kill a vampire is, like, just chop its head off. So that's what Wolverine does. He's really good at what he does, too. And so, Jubilee just keeps getting worse and worse and whatnot. Thing is, the infection is spreading. The scientists and the medical team keep talking about the symptoms of the virus, the problems, blah, blah, blah. Big issue, and then Wolverine finds all these vampires hidden in some kind of storage room, which is pretty creepy. And then Cyclops decides that they need to go on war with these vampires. Man, this is getting intense. Vampires are attacking the city, exploding, and we have to find out what happens next. Okay, this is X-Men Curse the Mutants, issue #2. Really sweet cover with, like, Wolverine and Blade right here. Actually, I don't think they actually fight in the issue, which kind of sucks, because the cover kind of deceives you a little bit. I was actually expecting a fight with them, but anyway, let's just keep going. This is part 2. So, you know, fighting more of these vampires, blah, blah, blah. Wolverine beating up people, and Colossus joins the fight, too. They fight, and they dish out pain on all these nasty vampires. And they're spilling water all over everyone and whatnot, and then Storm comes in and she just zaps the hell out of one of them, which is just epic. And then more vampires come and they just fight, and then Blade comes in and helps them out too. Apparently he's here for some reason, and you find out why in, you know, the one of the spin-offs. Blade is kind of a one-dimensional guy as far as I can tell. And, you know, here Jubilee's under, like, scientific discovery again. They're trying to figure out what's up because she could be in danger. And now, what's their plan exactly? Now they're like, okay, what is Dracula doing here? And Scott's like, well, no, Dracula's dead. And then Storm's like, okay, so who are we fighting? Let's find out on the next page. Apparently they are fighting this dude who looks really cool. And he's like blonde and he has this armor and his eyes are like, I can't see what color his eyes are. Surrounded by all these people in this royal hall, and he's treating that girl from last issue like a dog, which is pretty epic. His name is, wait, let me see, Zarus? That sounds like Xanxus from Reborn. That's what he keeps reminding me of. Anyway, he's like, oh, we're gonna make everyone into vampires, blah blah blah. We're gonna turn the X-Men into vampires, blah blah blah, because we're evil like that. He's actually like a vampire prince or something. So he's like the son of Dracula. And he like did this whole like, rebellious thing where he just, took over and whatnot. The science team is in trouble and Jubilee is like running away, which is bad because she was infected with the stuff. Maybe she's becoming a vampire now. And then, Blade explains more about these specific, clan of vampires and whatnot. And then they pull the big reveal. How many vampires are there? Oh, wow. That's a lot. That's the country right there. And these are the vampires. All the red dots. That's not good. And then he's like, oh, that's pretty bad. Which is an understatement, considering the whole country is surrounded by vampires. And then there's this double spread for the Hulk, which is pretty neat. I don't really know why there's one red one and one green one. Maybe they're having some kind of Christmas shopping debacle. Okay, so Jubilee comes in, she's, with the vampires now, I guess. Because she was infected, and then, now they're coming up with a new plan. What's their new plan exactly? What they're gonna do is resurrect Dracula to stop his son? Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's not like Dracula's the one attacking, it's his son. So if you summon him to, stop him for a little bit, you might have enough time to stop the invasion. It's a good distraction, I guess. And like she says, Dracula is our bomb. We light the fuse and stand back. Good point. I don't really know how they're going to resurrect Dracula, but while all this is happening, Jubilee is being, welcomed into the vampire society, which is still super bad. Next issue, they're going to resurrect Dracula. I don't know how that's going to help them. I mean, if he decides to side with Zarius or whatever his name is, it's probably going to turn into more trouble. It's like, okay, hey, let's form a truce and just kill all the humans and the mutants and everyone. I don't think that's going to happen, but it just might. Or maybe Dracula will help. If he helps or hurts, it's really their only choice at this point to stop the vampire invasion. How will they resurrect Dracula? I have no idea. Let's find out in some of the side stories, which I'll review eventually. Next time, though, we're going to review Batman. Unless you want me to skip to the side stories right now, I could do that too. See you laters.